This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Good afternoon. I'm Doug Banks, filling in for Susan Farley today. Authorities have found a missing fisherman in Steuben. More coming up on that. Plus, we'll hear about the first budget meeting for 2027 for the city of Bangor. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on those stories later. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, happy Friday afternoon. We're seeing some returns on the radar. Some areas seeing a little bit of snow to the north. We'll see that switch over to rain as temperatures continue to warm above freezing. So some scattered raindrops and some snowflakes not out of the question today. But again, the primary precipitation will be rain as temperatures get above freezing. This will be courtesy of that area low pressure. You see that right there. That will send some leftover precipitation in our direction. It's even causing a little bit of precipitation further down toward the south as well. So a future chance for us picking up on that precipitation this afternoon, maybe some snow to the north, rain, better opportunities further down toward the south. It will back off overnight with the clouds breaking up too for most of us. And even for tomorrow, you may see some clouds, but it will be staying on the dry side. Gusty winds reaching up to about 20 miles per hour today, and then later on tonight backing off to about 10 miles per hour for the gusty winds. And then even for tomorrow, you may see some gusts in a few spots up to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour. So for today, mid-40s, mostly cloudy. You may see a few rain and snow showers, and they will be very light, and that north wind at around 25 miles per hour. And then your hourly forecast moving forward, showing those clouds, and again, very small chances for some raindrops, and your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin, for that report. We'll see you later on the broadcast. Folks, first here on the broadcast, authorities say the body of a missing fisherman from Steuben has been found. According to the Maine Marine Patrol, the body of 63-year-old Thomas West was recovered from the waters of Dyer Bay near his 35-foot lobster boat called Acres and Eights. Officials say West was reported missing at about 9 p.m. on Tuesday after local fishermen discovered his boat was running with no one on board. Marine Patrol launched a search that night using a remotely operated vehicle in the water, but suspended the search at around 2:30 a.m. Wednesday due to low visibility. They planned to resume search efforts, but the Marine Patrol was notified that West's body had been discovered by family members and transferred to a relative's fishing boat. His body was transported to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Augusta for an examination. A man from Rome, Maine, has been indicted on a dozen felony charges by the Kennebec County Grand Jury. 79-year-old David Allen Henry stands accused of attempted murder in multiple counts of elevated aggravated assault, unlawful sexual contact, and gross sexual assault. Court documents say he attempted to cause a female individual's death by strangulation and hitting her in the head repeatedly with a baseball bat. Documents also show the unlawful sexual contact and gross sexual assault charges stem from alleged incidents where they say Henry subjected victims younger than 12 and or younger than 14 to sexual contact or sexual acts. A Bangor man has been arrested for two separate incidents that happened within hours of each other. It was just after noon Thursday when police were called to the intersection of Broadway and State Street for a man who was walking in traffic and throwing a hand tool at a vehicle. Police say the driver chased 52-year-old Robert Burt, who dropped a medication bottle with his name on it as he ran away. Bangor police later received a report of a stolen vehicle, and security video revealed Burt was also responsible for that. Police then received a report that the stolen vehicle was in Brewer, and that's where Burt was arrested. He's now charged with theft by unauthorized taking, operating after suspension, and criminal mischief. Two Pittsfield residents are now facing charges after a months-long investigation into drug trafficking in the town of Pittsfield, Cannon area. MDEA says 44-year-old Joshua Johnson of Pittsfield was arrested yesterday after authorities obtained an arrest warrant for him after they say undercover agents bought fentanyl from him multiple times. His residence on the Cannon Road was searched. He now faces multiple aggravated drug trafficking charges. 28-year-old Samantha Quimby, also of Pittsfield, was arrested on outstanding warrants for theft, operating after suspension, and bail violations. Both were taken into custody without incident and transported to the Somerset County Jail. In other news, a case of vandalism involving a century-old tree has upset a community. Gail White of the Orono Land Trust says they discovered a couple of days ago that someone had painted the big old tree in the Jeremiah Colburn natural area of the Land Trust. She says this area is truly sacred to them since the area and the tree were what inspired the creation of the Land Trust. She says the paint is extremely harmful to the tree as it seeps into the bark, blocks the tree's oxygen intake, and eliminates the tree's ability to release carbon dioxide. She says the tree is a central fixture and an iconic part of the trust since 1986 and has never been purposely damaged before.
I would swear half the town has been out to see that tree and taken their kids, and they've climbed them, and a lot of people our age remember climbing it when they were kids, and my kids, my grandkids have gone out, and it's just disheartening.
She says the Land Trust is researching the best and least impactful way to remove the paint from the tree in the hopes of rejuvenating it. A sigh of relief in the town of Winslow, where the police department there tells us they found Zachary Crothers. The Winslow Police Department says he was found between 9 and 10 Thursday morning and that he is doing okay. The 24-year-old went missing Sunday afternoon, prompting police to ask those living in the area of Clinton Avenue, Benton Avenue, and Halifax Street to review camera footage from that day. Authorities say Crothers has developmental disabilities and his family was concerned for his safety. The city of Bangor is starting the process of ironing out its 2027 budget. Our Callie Warren has the story.
It's the first of many budget meetings for the city of Bangor. This early on, the budget remains very much still in that proposal stage. However, it does encompass a little bit of everything from addressing staffing shortages to improving the local library.
We're actually saving money by investing in those positions.
The biggest changes proposed for Bangor's 2027 budget involve strengthening staffing by hiring more support staff for the clerk and treasury department. Additionally, requests have been made by both the city manager and the Bangor fire chief to add an emergency management director to improve disaster response in situations such as severe storm damage, flooding, and infrastructure issues.
When you get to a larger level of municipal responsibilities that have to take place, that position and positions similar to it become increasingly more vital to the well-being and future of the cities.
Furthermore, the Bangor Public Library is requesting a budget increase of just over $250,000. They say they're seeing an increase in unacceptable behavior, issuing more suspensions from the library, and that ARPA funding is coming to an end to fund their social workers position, a resource that both the library and individuals in the community rely on.
The libraries have always been that kind of place where people cross paths from different walks of life. Connecting people to services helps people move out of that public space and have a private space as well, something that people also need. And that's part of why it's important to have a social worker in the library.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, folks, still to come on ABC 7 News at noon. We'll have details about the preparations leading up to a potential negotiation between the U.S. and Iran. We'll have more on that after the break.
Car accidents can be scary. It can feel like the whole world is crashing down around you. Hurt in a car accident, I'm on top of it. I'm your go-to guy.
Call 222-2222.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stairlifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stairlift, the world's leader in stairlifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stairlifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stairlift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stairlift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stairlift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-732-2971 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-732-2971.
With over 30 years of experience, Patriot General Contractors knows how to get your home renovation project done right. Our certified contractors can help you build, redesign, or finish the project of your dreams. Check out Facebook page for reviews and visit patriotgeneralcontractors.com to schedule your quote today. Patriot General Contractors, redesigning your properties for the future.
Cancer affects everyone, but there is hope at Northern Light Eastern May Medical Center's Champion the Cure Challenge, where every dollar raised helps patients in our own backyard. Make a difference. Walk, run, or cycle August 15th in Brewer. Visit ctcchallenge.org.
Kirk Fisher is a motorcycle attorney with first responder experience. He protects fellow riders and those in danger, fighting fires and fighting for your rights. Experienced, determined, and dedicated. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Look for motorcycles, or Kurt Fisher will be looking for you.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Preparations are ramping up again for potential negotiations between the U.S. and Iran and Pakistan. A source in Pakistan tells ABC News security measures increased in Islamabad after receiving strong indications that talks could be held over the weekend. It comes as the Trump administration says it's in no rush to make a deal. ABC's Christian Cordero has the latest.
Today, as the war with Iran barrels towards its third month, Pentagon officials say they are ready to keep fighting at the president's command, with 3 aircraft carriers now in the Middle East. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth insists the U.S. has leverage in the conflict, asserting it's on Iran to agree to the administration's principal demand.
Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Iran has an important choice, a chance to make a deal, a good deal, a wise deal.
A source tells ABC News security measures are ramping up in Islamabad, Pakistan today in preparation for possible negotiations. Iran's foreign minister is visiting the region, though it's unclear whether anyone from the U.S. will attend and whether any peace talks with mediators will take place. President Trump says he's in no rush to go back to the negotiating table.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time.
The central point of the war right now is intensifying, with the Pentagon warning it will destroy any ship laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Administration officials, however, claim U.S. troops have control of the waterway, releasing this video showing enforcement of its own blockade of Iranian ports by seizing a second Iranian tanker.
We intend to conduct the boarding of your vessel.
Meanwhile, Iran says it has seized 2 vessels this week and insists that its leadership is united against what it calls U.S. aggressions.
The average price of gas in the U.S. dipped briefly last weekend when potential negotiations appeared imminent. It has since bounced back up, now averaging $4.05 per gallon of regular, according to Gas Buddy. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
In other news, 2 buses collide near the Pentagon complex in Arlington, Virginia. Today's head-on crash happened near the Pentagon's south parking lot, disrupting the morning commute. Details about the crash, including if anyone was hurt, have yet to be released. Metro officials say the Pentagon Transit Center was shut down for an investigation and the bus service was redirected. The tornado outbreak overnight. The most notable was a large and destructive tornado that tore through parts of Enid and the Vance Air Force Base in Oklahoma. A rare tornado emergency alert was issued by the National Weather Service, the highest alert level. Here's ABC's Gina Z with the details.
A devastating tornado levels parts of Oklahoma. A particularly dangerous situation tornado warning was issued, telling people to take cover as the massive stovepipe tornado tore through the city of Enid.
That house is flattened. That house is completely flat. And look how big that tornado is. That is getting bigger and bigger and bigger right now.
The twister destroying several homes, people reportedly trapped.
Look at this.
Vance Air Force Base taking a direct hit. Officials there checking structures for damage. In a nearby field, huge pieces of industrial equipment tossed onto trucks or flipped on its side.
It really gives you perspective of how strong this tornado was.
Emergency responders dodging debris as they race to the scene to help with search and rescue.
It's kind of a nightmare right at the moment. There are injuries. I'm aware of that. Hopefully there's no fatalities.
The lightning and storm clouds could be seen from the air as this flight diverted out of its path.
It was weird. You could feel the tornado. You could feel it in your chest. It was a rumble that, I mean, I'm never going to forget this because, when they say it sounds kind of like a freight train, that's true.
Husband and wife, Jason and Dana Campbell, were about 5 miles apart when the tornado tore through. She drove from their home to her job to take shelter, while he was with his father.
When it started forming and it coming to us, that's when Dana's like, honey, I'm going to take shelter. And I told her to go. It's just like my dad. And like I said, he's 82, so it's hard for him to get around.
While several injuries have been reported, most are described as minor.
And back here in Maine, there are 140 homes on Newbury Neck Peninsula in the town of Surrey. But when a storm washes away a section of its main road, it puts first responder access at risk. Yesterday, I spoke with a town select board member who told me he was caught off guard when residents turned down a project to prevent such damage from happening again. Here's that story.
There were many roads across Maine that suffered severe damage during the winter storms of 2023 and 2024. This section of Newbury Neck Road in Surrey being one of them. 4 storms between December of 2023 and March of 2024 inflicted $400,000 worth of damages on Surrey. But when the town received federal funding to construct a more storm-resistant crossing through Carrying Place Beach, residents voted against it.
Different people had different thoughts about it.
A visit to Newbury Neck Peninsula could include a stop by Perry's Lobster Co. while seeing a different side of Mount Desert Island.
It's a special place for Surrey.
The peninsula is flanked by Morgan Bay and Union River Bay. In the middle is the town's only public beach.
The beach is the pinch point,
which he says is susceptible to erosion when storm surges and high tide combine. It's a reason why in September of 2022, a town-formed committee determined it was an asset worth saving. The road is currently 8.9 feet above sea level. A reconstruction project would have added 3 to 6 feet to it. Stark says the town was able to obtain $2.9 million in congressionally directed spending. A 25% town match would have been required, but Stark says plans were in place to use state grants before even considering touching taxpayer dollars. Which is why Stark says it was an unexpected turn of events when the Newbury Neck Peninsula Storm Evacuation Project was turned down by residents on a recent referendum ballot by a 240 to 178 vote. Why? Stark suggests it could have come down to costs and aesthetics.
4 years of research and listening to people identify it as one of our top 5 priorities in town to come up with a solution. And now, our hands are tied.
In Surrey, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, folks, after the break, we'll take a look at what Mr. Food has in the kitchen. Stay right here.
The circus is coming! The circus is coming!
Don't miss this exciting new show featuring unicycle juggling, dogs and hula hoops, the Flying Cortez Trapeze Spectacular, glow motorcycling, and more. The Anna Shrine Circus, April 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Bangor Cross Insurance Center.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
People ask me all the time, does Lowry & Associates really get all of those clients, all of those big settlements? Yes, we do. And you know what else is true? I really am standing on top of this big truck.
The marathon of life can be challenging. Chores and responsibilities keep us from the things we once loved and the aspirations we set. But it's never too late to find your second wind. With an affordable, fully online program and advisors to help you along the way, you can cross the finish line when it works for you. Finish strong at the University of Maine.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. so you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
I realized he slashed my tires.
How did you realize he slashed your tires?
I told him I'm going to pay him. My tires were slashed after that.
That really doesn't make any sense.
Hot Bench.
Friday at 3 on ABC 7.
The circus is coming! The circus is coming!
Don't miss this exciting new show featuring unicycle juggling, dogs and hula hoops, the Flying Cortez, Trapeze Spectacular, glow motorcycling, and more. The Anna Shrine Circus, April 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Bangor Cross Insurance Center.
If I asked you to name a dish that is as good for dinner as it is for breakfast, what comes to mind? Sure, it could be anything from French toast to an omelet, but the dish that we're talking about today is a Southern favorite that is as down home as you can get. It's biscuits and gravy, and the quick version we're making today is as tasty as it gets. All we do after browning some butter in a skillet is to saute a pound or so of pork sausage until it's cooked through. Now, we stir in some flour. You see, the flour mixes with the butter and the drippings and makes what's known as a roux, which will thicken our gravy. Once that cooks for a bit, we add a shake or two of Worcestershire sauce, a bit of salt and pepper, and we slowly stir in some milk. While that simmers, you can whip up a batch of biscuits to serve your gravy over. And when you spoon this over the piping hot biscuits, get ready for some good old-fashioned Southern eating. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our homemade biscuits and gravy, so you'll be armed with a recipe that's as fitting for dinner as it is for breakfast. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a more comforting way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Now the news here in Maine, the Society for Science is a nonprofit in Washington, D.C. that is awarding more than $110,000 in STEM research grants to 41 educators across 16 states. A teacher in Dover-Foxcroft is one of the recipients. Jonathan Dumont of Cito Mocha Middle School teaches 8th grade physical science and leads the school's science fair. He was awarded $2,200 in grant funding to expand hands-on STEM learning. Dumont said, quote, "Grant funding will be used to establish freshwater and saltwater tanks for growing mussels and other bivalves. It will also support rearing algae, monitoring water quality, and measuring bacterial growth. In the future, an extracurricular club for 7th graders will use this equipment to conduct high-quality science fair projects and build connections with the local environment and community," end quote. An EMMC employee who intervened to help save a missing autistic child is being praised by the Brewer Police Department. Here is Sergeant Nickerson awarding Trista Birchill with a Brewer PD Challenge coin. Birchill was recently working on the 3rd floor of Northern Lights Eastern Maine Medical Center when she saw a young child playing on the riverbank of the Penobscot River near Indian Trail Park, close to the water. When she called police, it had been discovered that an 8-year-old child was missing from a residence in Brewer. The sergeant coordinated the police response, which included officers deploying to Indian Trail Park, the Conservation Club, and the Treats Falls Dam. The officers moved over rough terrain with the assistance of the Brewer Fire Department. They found the child and reunited him with his mother. The challenge coin was in recognition of Birchill's assistance. All right, folks, after the break, Devin Biggs has your full 5-day forecast. We'll be right back.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
Car accidents can be scary. It can feel like the whole world is crashing down around you. You can't work, you've got expensive medical bills, pain and suffering. Absolute chaos. We'll take the stress and frustrations off your shoulders. We've done that for thousands of people, and we're ready to help you too. Hurt in a car accident? I'm on top of it. I'm your go-to guy.
Call 222-2222.
With Maine's largest network of parts, Coastal Auto Parts keeps things moving. If it's got wheels and an engine, we've got the parts to keep it on the road and the drive to help more families in Maine. April is Autism Awareness Month, and Autos for Autism is back. That means you can join your local Napa Auto or Truck Care Center and your Coastal Auto Parts location to help families living with autism right here in Maine. Because serving our community is what keeps us going. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
My name is Rebecca Babrot, and I'm studying my master's in social work at the University of Maine. After high school, I went to college in upstate New York, but then got involved with life and family, so I had a college education, but no degree. When I first thought about going back to school, it seemed really intimidating. One of the great things about an online program is that you can combine studying as part of your day. I'm actually studying right now. It's such a great feeling to have made myself important in the process and to continue my education.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
Welcome back. Here's your full forecast with Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. Wave height's not too bad at around 2 to 3 feet according to the buoys. Farther off towards the north and east, rather low as well, with no advisories posted along the coastline or on land. Farther out towards sea at around 2 to 5 feet at this moment in time. So on land, we are seeing some returns, some areas, especially to the north, seeing a few snowflakes, but farther down toward the south, especially as temperatures warm, they'll be seeing some raindrops. So again, a few raindrops or snowflakes will be possible today across the region, courtesy of that area low pressure that you're seeing right there. There it is right there. But farther off towards the west, you're seeing a little bit more activity, courtesy of that large area low pressure right there. But for us, it's that small area that's over the ocean. And again, just possibly some snowflakes to the north, raindrops more than anything else for us farther down toward the south as temperatures get above freezing. All of this backs off overnight as the clouds break up. And even as we head towards your Saturday, a nice day, you may see some clouds and sunshine mixed in. And even as we head towards Saturday night, still looking great with the clouds breaking up. And as we head towards your Sunday, not much of a problem at all. Lots of sunshine and even a few passing clouds. Snow, not a problem at all. A few localized areas where you may see a little bit of accumulations, but it's going to melt very quickly with temperatures that will be above freezing. As for additional rainfall, it's going to be very minimal as well, less than 0.05 inches of rain, and that's about it. So practically a trace of rainfall, and that's all you're really going to see there. So overall, I'm calling it rain and snow showers, but practically raindrops or maybe some snowflakes in a few spots. But overall, highs in the mid 40s today, and that north wind at around 25 miles per hour. We start calming down tonight, mostly clear, lows in the upper 20s, and that north wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, mid 50s for the high, north wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, showing a mostly cloudy sky coming up for your Sunday with highs in the low 60s, with mid 60s coming up for your Monday under a partly cloudy sky. Partly cloudy for your Tuesday with highs in the mid 60s.
Good to know, Devin. Thank you for that report. One zoo in Florida is celebrating the opening of its newly renovated habitat for koalas months after it welcomed its first baby koala. While the Joey was born back in September, it's just now beginning to come out of hiding from its mother's pouch. Officials at the Palm Beach Zoo say its birth is crucial for genetic diversity in the United States.
So for the zoo and for us here, it's the very big deal. This is the first ever Joey that we've had ever in the history of Palm Beach Zoo. And we are trying the best that we can to help with a lot of the genetic diversity within the population that we have here in the United States. So that's why it's important that we do have a Joey and that we were successful this year.
The revamped habitat will open again on Saturday. This time, koalas can enjoy more greenery and natural light mimicking the Australian outback. Right now, those cuddly creatures are on loan from Australia for conservation. In other news, Kellogg's is bringing back an old cereal tradition to celebrate the release of a highly anticipated Disney movie. The breakfast giant announced it'll be putting toys back in its cereal boxes for the first time in more than a decade. The revival comes ahead of the release of Pixar's Toy Story 5, which will be in theaters starting June 19th. The special edition cereal boxes feature toys inspired by the movie's key characters, including Woody, Buzz, Lightyear, and Jessie, will be available in several Kellogg's cereals nationwide on April 26th. And now to the ice. In the third period of Wednesday's Ducks vs. Oilers game, a rotisserie chicken was thrown on the ice. Play was paused for objects on the ice. The delay seemingly halted Edmonton's momentum, giving Anaheim essentially a free timeout. The Anaheim Ducks would win just 59 seconds later. Now that just needs to happen in the Bruins game because, yeesh, they're not playing good right now. That's all we have for this afternoon. I'm Doug Banks, and for everyone here at ABC 7 News at noon, thank you for watching. We'll be back here at 6, and hopefully you are too. Until then, take care. Goodbye.
Commercial vehicles can be dangerous, and they